Well, hello and welcome. I am so happy to be with you today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Reverend Cassandra Rae, Spiritual Director of the Center for Spiritual Living, White Rock. We're an inclusive learning center of practical spirituality based in White Rock, South Surrey, British Columbia. We practice and teach tools for transformation, authentic self expression, and conscious living. Wherever you are on your path, whether you're soaring or struggling, there is a place for you here. And as we begin our gathering today, I respectfully acknowledge that I live and work on the traditional unceded territory of the Coast Salish nations, including Kwikwetlam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Stalo nations. So now let us ground our time together in truth and spirit. I invite you to go within, to take a conscious breath, and be right here in this ever present now moment, this eternal unfolding of Source itself. I know that there is one power, one mind, one life in all of the universe, and it is manifesting, outpicturing, unfolding, expressing as everyone and everything. I know that it is absolute love, that it is deep and profound wisdom, and that it is infinite possibility, giving all of itself to each and every one. And in this moment, I accept that gift. I recognize my oneness with life, my oneness and interconnectedness with all life everywhere. And it's from this place of unity that I claim, affirm, and know that each one here is God in form, is love in human form. And so, what I know of this time together is that it lifts each one of us up, that it embraces and folds, supports, and inspires each one of us. That there is something that is said or sung that feeds the soul, that opens the mind, that encourages the heart. And so I'm grateful for each one who's here this day. I'm grateful to be in community, to be connected, to remember truth, and to bask in the light of the divine. Knowing that that light shines from within and from all around. I give thanks for all that's unfolding today, knowing that Spirit is guiding and guarding each one of us. I release my word into that divine law of mind and surrender to its perfect unfoldment, knowing that the universe says yes each and every time. And so I do too. I say yes. I let it be. And so it is. So glad that you're here. And can you believe that the last time we gathered on a Sunday in person was 245 days ago? What? Yes, that's 36 weeks, 8 full months. And if you had asked me if this is where we would be 1 year after coming here, I'm celebrating my 1 year anniversary with CSL White Rock. It was like not even fathomable a year ago, right? That this is where we would be. And yet, here we are gathering virtually. And today it really hit me. It just really hit me today as we're doing this live on Zoom and recording it to share with our community who can't be here with us live. I'm looking around at the Zoom screen and I'm sending each one of you love. And I'm just remembering like the gift of what it was like to see you in person and to give you a handshake, give you a hug, and just those those casual interactions that happen when you're just hanging out, right, in person. And I just, I really miss that, right? And it just really hit me today. And you might also be feeling tired of all of the things that we do, like wearing a mask and social distancing and staying home. And yet, right now, it's like more important than ever that we stay vigilant and committed to public health precautions, public safety measures, right? And so when I sat down to write this talk, it was, there were a few questions that were really coming up for me. And so I just asked the question, how can we get through the fatigue? How do we keep going? That was what I asked when I sat down to write this talk. And guess what I found? I found the most nourishing, uplifting, and hopeful Ernest Holmes quote that is perfect for what we're facing right now. So today, we are going back to basics so that we can put aside fear, worry, and anxiety and fill up on faith, optimism, and strength by taking a deep dive into the following quote. Now, I want to read to you this full quote that I found in The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. It's a little bit long, so you might want to like close your eyes so that you can really take it in, and then know that I'm going to repeat parts of it to you as we go here. So here's what Dr. Holmes said. We can free ourselves from a feeling of approaching fatigue by knowing that we have within us, always immediately available, an infinite strength. As we allow the thought of this to enter our inner consciousness, we feel strong, vital, and equal to any emergency. This power within you is the same that holds the planets in space. The power back of your word is perfect law and is fulfilled and returned to you as your perfect strength. Now, for those of you who dive into the Science of Mind text with me each week, you might want to know that that was from page 227. Page 227, paragraph 3 from the Science of Mind text. And I love this quote so much. And I was like, yes, I want to tap into the infinite strength of the universe. How do I do that? And guess what? This passage gives us 4 very specific ways to tap into infinite strengths, the infinite strength of the universe. And so I'm going to highlight all 4 of them. And the first one is your knowing. Your knowing. So I'm going to read the very beginning of this quote again. We can free ourselves from a feeling of approaching fatigue, or even if we're overwhelmed with fatigue already, by knowing that we have within us, always available, an infinite strength. Okay, so it begins with your knowing. And so here at the Center for Spiritual Living, knowing is a synonym for faith. And faith is a mental attitude so deeply felt and believed that the mind chatter can no longer deny it. So let's think of something that's easy to have faith in. Something that is so easy to have faith in, we take it for granted. Electricity. Yep, electricity. It's super easy for us to have faith in electricity. When I flip the switch in my apartment, the light will go on. I don't see electricity, but I believe in it wholeheartedly. In fact, it would be ridiculous for me to not believe in electricity. So let's use the faith that we have in electricity to bolster the faith we have in an infinite strength. So Dr. Holmes says, he talks about electricity too. I think this is so cool. So this quote is also from Science of Mind text. He says, there is electricity, the way it works, and its result. So there's three aspects of electricity, right? There's just the idea and concept, the fact of electricity, the way it works, and then the results of it. So the possibility of electricity has always been and always will be. So even when humans were living in caves, electricity was possible. Electricity exists. And then there's how it works. Putting a light bulb in a lamp, plugging it in, flipping the switch, and paying my BC hydro bill, right, is how it works. I'm sure there's other aspects to that someone knows somewhere, but you get the idea. That's how it works. And then there's the results. I flip the switch and the light in my room goes on. So today, I'm asking you to believe that the infinite strength exists, and not only exists, but exists within you. And it's always available, and you can plug into it through your thinking and feeling, which is the second way that you draw upon the infinite strength. So the first way was through your knowing and your faith. The second way is your thinking and feeling. So I'm going to read another part of the quote. As we allow the thought of this to enter our inner consciousness, we feel strong, vital, and equal to any emergency. So in this second way to tap into the infinite strength, you engage your thinking by practicing the thought. Here's a thought. There's an infinite strength within me that's always available. You simply begin thinking that for yourself. You begin saying that for yourself, especially when you're tired and fatigued. There's an infinite strength within me that's always available. And so I want you to think about, how do you feel when you think that thought? You might start off even with doubt or skepticism, like, oh, yeah, right. But as you continue to tell yourself this message over time, there's an infinite strength within me that's always available, you might begin to notice that the doubt begins to decrease, that after a while, you might even start to feel hopeful. And if you practice it enough, then you will feel strong, vital, and capable. And so what does that sound like? That sounds like confidence. That sounds like energy. You will start to feel confident that the infinite strength within you actually is equal to any emergency. So with practice, you're able to face the circumstances in your life because you know that there's an infinite strength inside of you that is supporting you, that is stronger than any emergency you might face. It's super easy to think that the pandemic is the end all be all, that no one is gonna, we're never gonna get over it. I mean, 8 months in, right? It's how it feels. But we can practice through our thinking and inspire a new feeling around it. So that's our second way, through our thinking and our feeling. And the third way is your power. Your power. So I'm going to read another bit of the quote to you. This power within you is the same that holds the planet in space. So this third way to draw the infinite strength is to consider that the power within you is the same power that holds the planet in space. That's some crazy strong power. And while I was writing this, I did a random internet search. We totally have a joke in my family. We're like, Google that. we talk about anything, it comes up and we'll be like, I'm going to Google that. So that is what I did when I was writing this talk. And I just Googled what keeps the planets in place. And you know what the internet said? Gravity. Gravity. This is another force that we can't see, that we believe in wholeheartedly because we experience it every moment of every day. And we rely on it. We expect it to work. We know when we get out of bed in the morning that we aren't going to fall on the ceiling, right? That's not going to happen. So according to the NASA website, anything that has mass also has gravity. And objects with more mass have more gravity. And gravity also gets weaker with distance. So the closer objects are to each other, the stronger their gravitational pull is. This, you didn't know there was a spiritual lesson in there on the NASA website, but there is. Because when we give ideas more attention, we're giving them more mass. So there's an infinite strength within me that's always available. Imagine that as you practice that thought, you're giving it mass, which is giving it more gravity in your life. And the infinite strength is always there and always available. And as you increase your belief in it, you're getting closer and closer to it. The idea gets bigger in your mind, its gravitational pull increases, and this idea then pulls you into its orbit, and you begin to open up to your perfect strength. So way number 3 is your power. And as we step into number 4 now, we're going to engage that power with your word. So way number 4 to tap into the infinite strength is through your word. So you're engaging your knowing, your thinking, your feeling, and your power. And now it's time to add your word to the mix. This 4th way to draw upon the infinite strength is through your word. The power back of your word is perfect law and is fulfilled and returned to you as perfect strength, your perfect strength. So what you say are seeds you're planting in the creative medium of the universe. So plant a good one. Plant a good seed. You get to use your imagination and make it up. You can put anything you want into the creative medium of the universe. So, for example, here's just a few that I, came up off the top of my head as I was writing this. Let's see here. Everything's working out in my favor. I am safe. Perfect health is mine. I no longer struggle. I know my worth and value. I'm confident. I find new ways to connect every day. People love and adore me. So I was just making a list of things. If we can put anything in there that we want, like, let's make it something good. Like, use your imagination and make it up. Because when you add in all of these elements together, this is how you are engaging your power through your word. So I want to remind you that you're not limited by your past patterns of thinking. You can create new patterns, and you can start right now. Your spiritual practice for this week is to write a mantra that you practice every day, every time you turn on a light switch. Your light switch in your room is going to be your spiritual practice. So I want you to think about one thing you struggle with. And then I want you to think of the opposite of that struggle. And then write a mantra that will help you release the old and step into the new. And so maybe your mantra is something I've said today. You can totally take what I've said because maybe it really resonated with you. And so what matters is that your mantra is meaningful for you and supports you in navigating your everyday life. I mean, and even just this, mantra of there is an infinite strength of the universe within me and always available. I mean, that's an amazing one. So every time you flip on the light, you go, infinite strength right here, right? So if you're feeling tired or anxious, depressed, or worried, I want you to know that that's okay. In fact, it's understandable and perfectly normal to experience these emotions when you're facing really stressful circumstances or scary conditions. And honestly, globally, we're all facing stressful circumstances and scary conditions. So I just want to remind you that it's okay to feel how you feel. The important part is to not allow yourself to be consumed by your human experience. Because remember that your humanity is wrapped and enfolded by your divinity. This means that whatever you face as a human, the infinite strength is stronger. So stay engaged with your inner process. Notice when feelings of fear, worry, or anxiety come up. And when they do, just pause. Just take a breath and let them go. Remember that there's an infinite strength inside of you at all times. Say your mantra and begin again, because each moment is a new moment. And remember that new thoughts create new conditions. So let's do that together. Remembering that you are deeply loved, held, appreciated, and supported by this infinite strength. Let's create some new conditions this week. Let's create a new experience, a new outpicturing of our infinite strength. And so it is.